season. Just what are your plans for the off season and possibly playing or just doing individual workouts?
Yeah, I mean, probably take a little bit of a break here, just for maybe a week. I don't really want to lose a ton of the stuff I've worked on, and just trying to get my body back to full health. There's some USA basketball stuff I need to get ready for.
Did Caitlin Clark just accidentally confirm the departure of her closest and fiercest teammate? A cryptic moment from Clark has set the WNBA rumor mill on fire. And fans think it points to one shocking truth. Sophie Cunningham's time with the Indiana Fever might be over. Clark and Cunningham's bond has been one of the league's most talked about storylines, a duo that perfectly balanced star power and toughness. Cunningham wasn't just Clark's teammate. She was her protector, motivator, and closest ally on the court. Together, they built a chemistry that electrified fans and became a core part of Indiana's identity. So why would this powerful partnership suddenly come to an end? The answer didn't come from a front office leak or insider scoop. It came straight from Sophie herself. On her podcast, Show Me Something, Cunningham spoke candidly about her future, and her words left little room for interpretation. She said she's looking for a multi-year deal with her next team, one that would finally give her financial stability and allow her to buy a home. A milestone still out of reach for many elite WNBA players. But it was her phrasing that sent fans into a frenzy. Not this team. Hopefully my next team. That one line hit like a thunderbolt. It didn't sound like a player negotiating for a better deal in Indiana. It sounded like one already preparing to move on. And when her co-host mentioned potential destinations like the New York Liberty, Cunningham didn't hesitate. Her response? It could be anywhere. That statement alone rattled Fever fans who had hoped her connection with Clark might anchor her in Indiana. But with free agency approaching and Sophie hinting at her next move, the situation feels as real as it gets, and far more complicated than anyone expected. Sophie Cunningham now enters one of the most pivotal moments of her career: free agency with full control over her future. As an unrestricted free agent, she can sign with any team that offers her the right deal, with no special rights for Indiana to keep her. But there's a serious wrinkle that complicates everything: her health. Cunningham's season ended abruptly with a torn MCL, a devastating injury that required surgery and months of grueling rehab. While she's shared encouraging recovery updates online, every potential team, including the Fever, will have to weigh the risk of investing long-term in a player coming off such a serious injury, especially one whose timeline for returning to full form remains uncertain. Her connection with Caitlin Clark was forged through the fire of a chaotic 2024 season, a year filled with injuries, adversity, and relentless scrutiny. Both stars missed time, forcing Indiana to dig deep into its bench while trying to stay in playoff contention. Before her injury, Cunningham wasn't just a starter. She was the team's emotional anchor. She became the voice in the locker room, the enforcer on the court, and the protector who never hesitated to stand up for Clark when opponents crossed the line with physical play. Whether she was jawing with rivals, diving for loose balls, or setting the tone defensively, her energy was infectious and irreplaceable. Her absence made that painfully clear, exposing just how vital she was to the team's chemistry beyond any stat line. Off the court, their friendship became a storyline of its own, one that drew massive fan attention and, at times, uncomfortable media speculation. Social media lit up with every interaction between Clark and Cunningham. Every glance, high five, and post-game exchange turned into viral content. Then came the controversy. Outspoken analyst Skip Bayless stirred the pot by accusing Cunningham of using her friendship with Clark to boost her own popularity and online following, an accusation that fans and insiders alike condemned as insulting and baseless. This unwanted spotlight only added pressure to a partnership already under intense public focus. What was once a strong, genuine bond between two competitors became a constant talking point, a distraction neither of them asked for. Now, as Sophie Cunningham eyes her next chapter, one thing is clear: Her decision won't just impact her career, it could reshape the entire Fever dynamic and leave Caitlin Clark facing a very different future without her most trusted ally by her side. Both Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham have spent this season navigating not just the challenges of professional basketball, but an extraordinary level of attention few teammates have ever faced. Every interaction, every quote, every social media post was dissected for meaning. What began as mutual respect and fierce competitiveness eventually became one of the most scrutinized dynamics in the WNBA, both a blessing and a burden. Now, the Indiana Fever find themselves standing at a crossroads that could define their future for years to come. The franchise's focus is crystal clear: build a championship dynasty around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, two generational stars who represent not just the future of Indiana, but the future of the league itself. Every roster move, every salary decision, and every contract negotiation now filters through that vision. That's where the cold reality sets in. The Fever's front office must answer a tough, emotionless question. Do they commit significant money and years to a fan-favorite veteran recovering from a major injury, who will turn 29 next season, or redirect that investment toward younger, healthier players who better fit their long-term core? The WNBA's hard salary cap makes this even trickier. Unlike the NBA, there are no luxury tax loopholes or bird rights exceptions to keep players by simply paying more. Every dollar given to one player directly limits what can be offered to others. The Fever also have multiple key contributors entering free agency, meaning Cunningham's future is directly tied to how aggressively Indiana wants to reshape its supporting cast. And that's where the emotional side collides with the business one. Caitlin Clark's silence, so far, speaks volumes. Fans know how Clark handles transitions. She's emotional, loyal, and open-hearted. When her former teammate Tammy Fagbenley departed, Clark posted a touching farewell filled with gratitude and love. So if Cunningham does move on, that heartfelt goodbye seems inevitable. A digital moment that will confirm what everyone already suspects. This era of their partnership is over. But beyond sentiment, this entire situation sparks a deeper debate about team-building philosophy in the modern WNBA. How much should teams value the intangibles? Leadership, toughness, chemistry versus pure athletic output? Cunningham embodies the former. She's a tone setter, a defensive warrior, and a locker room glue player. Her voice carried weight in huddles, and her energy fueled the team's fight. Letting her go might make financial sense, but it risks sending a message, one that says Indiana values numbers over loyalty and business over culture. That's a dangerous precedent in a league built on relationships. Other teams are watching closely. Contenders like the Las Vegas Aces, New York Liberty, and Connecticut Sun could easily pitch Cunningham on the chance to chase a championship right away, something Indiana can't yet guarantee. If winning now matters more than rebuilding with patience, Sophie might be tempted to make that leap. And then there's the injury factor. Cunningham's torn MCL looms over every negotiation. The uncertainty is real. MCL recoveries can vary drastically. Some players bounce back within months. Others never fully regain lateral quickness or defensive mobility. For someone whose game depends on grit, movement, and intensity, that risk is impossible to ignore. Teams will demand thorough medical testing and likely propose incentive-laden contracts, deals with team options, performance bonuses, or injury protections. For Sophie, that might mean choosing between a shorter, high-value deal or a longer, lower-paying contract that guarantees stability. That's where the Fever could quietly have an edge. Their elite medical staff and rehab facilities are familiar territory. She trusts the doctors, knows the routines, and has established relationships with the trainers guiding her recovery. For a player coming off surgery, that continuity could make all the difference. In the end, it's a delicate equation: loyalty versus longevity, emotion versus economics, comfort versus championship contention. No matter which path Sophie Cunningham chooses, the ripple effects will be felt across the WNBA. And for Caitlin Clark, it might mean the end of one of the most talked about partnerships in women's basketball.